Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. In this video we'll discuss and explain everything in details about the VertexFX BackOffice parameters. I'm using VertexFX 10.5. I've explained the Navigator tree the previous episode. You can check it and check the multi-level management in the description below to watch it before this one. So let's begin. I have my tree here. I have head group named the UK headquarter and an office for it. Inside the UK office, you can find that I have separated the futures clients and the spots clients. The clients who trade spots in one group and who trade futures in another group. And I have another two branches or groups considered as branches for my company: India branch and UAE branch. So let's begin. Right click on the UK, for example the headquarter group, then go to parameters. From this option you can edit the parameter or any parameter for this one, and or copy parameter. If you click on copy parameter, for example, you can copy the spread, for example, or you can copy any parameter related to any symbol to another symbol from here. So for example, I want to copy the spread of the USD to the CHF. For example, I can copy it, then click copy. I can copy it easily. Or you can inherit all parameters. They'll inherit all the parameters from the node above. Let's begin. Let's go to, I want to edit the parameters of the UK office here. Parameters, edit parameters. I'll begin with the general parameters. The general parameters for the UK office, or the symbols, everything related, or anything relates to symbols, you can find it here. Let's begin with general. The account ID postfix is what you decide to the value you decide to be after the account ID. So the account ID of the UK office is this one. Then you'll find 122 after the account ID, and the ID prefix you'll find a fixed number before beginning with the actual ID. So let me just right click, then click on statement. I want it from beginning till now. Let me show you the prefix and the postfix values. So it is, the prefix is 133 and the postfix is 122, like we've configured. Let's continue with our general parameters. The auto liquidation, if you want the orders after liquidation to be handled automatically. If you want it to be or go to a chatting screen, you can override it, then click false. How do you want to compute the commission and interest when closing the position or when opening the position? You can specify it from here. And if you want to set up a daily email statement, sure, you need to set up an email central on your server to enable hedging or not. From here you can set it true or false, and enable interest. If you want to enable the interest, you can enable it from this one. Of course, there are inherited. If you see here or notice, the red color means that inherited takes a value from a parent node, and the overridden has its own value. So this parameter from the UK office parameters inherit all its parameters or all their parameters from the UK headquarters, and so on. If I want to change it, I'll just click on override, then change the value to false if I have to.
Enable news to enable or disable the market news tab in the terminal. Enable SMS alerting is for allowing the client to set up SMS alerting, to hide it or show it in the client terminal.
And the SMS scheduling, sure, it should has SMS Central for it. The GMT offset for this one, it is in UK, so I want it to be 0. Alright, the liquidation point. What is your liquidation point? Recommend it to be above 0, a fraction above the 0, actually 2 or 3, to prevent the equity to go from going minus in minus values. The liquidation type gives you the ability to set for every client different liquidation type instead of setting all the same for all clients on equity. If you want the liquidation type to be on equity or margin level, you can change it from here. Of course, you should change the value to overridden. Margin requirement type. From this option, you can specify how to calculate the margin requirement by selecting the way of the calculation from a drop-down menu. This menu from here. The following options: don't compute hedge positions. Whenever a client opens hedge position, no margin requirement is considered. For example, buy your USD with amount of 4 lots and sell your USD with the same amount, the margin requirement equals 0, assuming margin requirement for your USD is 1000 for the amount of 1 lot. Then compute one of the 2 hedge positions. Whenever a client opens a hedge positions, the margin requirement is calculated once. The same example, your USD with the amount of 4 lots, sell the same amount of 4,
margin requirement equals 4000.
Assuming the margin requirement or the initial margin for USD is 1000 for the amount of 1 lot. Then compute 2 of the hedge positions. The same, if we use the same example, the buy your USD amount of 4, then sell your USD with the amount of 4.
Margin requirement equals 8000.
Assuming margin requirement is 1000 for the 2 positions. The monthly email statement. To enable or disable the monthly email statement, this option will work on your system if you activated the email service on your server. The private slot news, to use this parameter to display a private news for selected client. For this office, I'll show this news right here. Thanks for using our platform. The statement header and footer, to determine what you'll show as a statement footer and header. And of course the weekly email statement, likewise the monthly email statement to send an email weekly. Sure, you should have the email central activated on your server. First one in this drop-down menu is the spread. The spread for a group of symbols or one symbol can be the difference between the ask and the bid price on your market watch. There are 2 ways for the spread calculation depending on your spread calculation type. You'll find it, and I'll discuss it in details when I reach the symbols settings. This one from bid or from average. So spread calculation, depending on your spread calculation type, you can check the spread calculation from the symbol setting like I've shown you. To edit it, just right click on any group or any group of symbols or any symbol, then edit selected. Of course you should change it to override. Then you can change the value from fixed or the source, like the source feed plus the value you enter here, or fixed. I want it to be 3 fixed for this whole group. Or you can change it from here, the spread balance. You can change the spread balance to balance the spread between the bid and the ask. Will deduct from the bid and add 2 on the ask, or what you decide to change it from the spread balance cursor from here. The limit offset. The limit offset show you the number of pips that should be away from the current market price to place limit orders. So if I change the USD pairs, the offset for this one, for the Australian dollar USD dollar, to 10 pips. If the market price is 20, I can't put a buy limit at 19. I should place buy limit on 10 or 9 or less than this. So you should be within the range of the limit offset. The stop offset is the same, but for stop orders. The initial margin, this option is the margin requirement. This option indicates the amount that the client should have in his effective margin to be able to buy one lot from this specific currency. The initial margin, it is 1,000 as standard lot. The maintenance margin, if the amount of the effective margin gets less than the maintenance margin, this account will appear on the maintenance margin call report. We'll discuss this report, this specific report, in the reports section of our series. Then the visible, if you want to make any pair visible or invisible from here for a certain clients or groups or one client or more, you can change the commission for any symbol from here, any currency. The maximum amount per deal, the maximum amount per deal for the USD GPY is 10. You cannot buy or sell more than 10 in one deal or close. And the minimum amount per deal, you cannot buy or sell less than this baby lot here. The market auto broker, you can change the market auto broker for any client or group or office from here. You can make it always off. You can make it go to auto broker if it less than 3 lots, for example, or you can make it always on for this office, group, or client. The limit stop auto broker, if amount is less than, it is same as the market auto broker, just for limits and stops. You can change it to from always off, always on, or less than amount you specified. So if it's less than 5 then it shall go auto broker. If it's 5 or more, it will go to a chatting screen and appear on the this section right here, the section for limits and stops. Now I've explained the accounts parameters and how to change the parameters for groups, offices, and clients. Now we'll discuss the privileges and the parameters for dealers. You can grant or disallow your dealers from having privileges on certain things. For example, right click and edit parameters. They can have privileges on symbols, so they can edit and configure symbols from the symbol settings options, symbol settings. If they have the privilege on the symbol, they can see it, and although they can edit it. The privileges, they can if the dealer has a privilege on a certain thing like the chatting screen, they can get better price or not. You can everything in details, everything that the back office contains will be granted or disallowed from this list of privileges. All the general news, if you write any news here for any certain dealer, I'm writing news for admin UK, he only can see it. So anything you can write here, you can write anything. That's it for our video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this video was useful for you. Be sure to complete our series. We're discussing the back office, a series of tutorials. Next, we'll discuss the options and the symbol settings. Stay tuned and have a great day.